Hello. Today we're going to talk about a few things, mainly classifying, organizing things. So let's just hop right into it. Here's the first thing I'd like you to write down: classify, grouping things together based on how they are alike. Take a moment and write this down, please. I guarantee it shows up on a test or a quiz. Grouping things together based on how they are alike. We classify lots of things. This classroom, okay, seventh graders tend to be either 12 or 13 years old, because you guys all started school when you were 5 or just turned 6. The reason for that is people of the same age usually can do similar things. Okay, when you were in kindergarten, hopefully you could write your name, knew your basic colors, and could count to 10. Go to the bathroom yourself, get a drink from the drinking fountain yourself. Okay, those are things that most kindergartners can do. That's why they don't let a 3-year-old be in kindergarten, because they maybe can't do those things that well. So if you're in the same group in school, you can usually do similar things. There are exceptions, of course, but for the most part, you have similar abilities. That's why you don't see a first grader in senior Spanish, okay? Because they can't write and do things as well as 18-year-olds. So classify, put things into groups based on how they're alike. We classify things by size, shape, color, number, texture. If you go to like Walmart, for example, things are classified like crazy in Walmart. You walk in and there's a food area, there's a clothing area, electronics, there's like an auto area. And so if you needed something for your car, you're not looking where the milk is, you're looking instead where the car stuff is. So, and then you could even break it down further into even smaller classifications. Like if you're in the food, usually there's a dairy area where everything milk, cheese related are pretty close. The eggs are usually close there because they're in the cooler. There's a bread aisle, a chip aisle, and all of that. So we classify things based on their similarities. I have a 3-year-old son that classifies his Legos. He sorts them by color. He puts all the red ones and stacks them all up, the blue ones, and then his little brother comes over and mixes them all up, and he gets mad. But for whatever reason, he likes to classify those, put them in groups based on how they're alike. We classify living things in science, living, non-living. Animals, like for example, if you have fur, give milk to your young, take care of your young, live birth, well-developed lungs, good teeth, all of that, you're going to be a mammal. Insect, if you're going to be classified as an insect, you have to have certain characteristics: an exoskeleton, 6 legs, lay eggs, things like that. So we classify those things. I'm sure last year you guys did like the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, the taxonomy. That's all about classifying the 5 kingdoms. Groups in school, kind of mentioned that. I would like you to write this down: record and organize, putting information into an easy to understand form. Putting information into an easy to understand form. Usually this means some sort of chart or graph, something like that, where you can look at all the results. Recording and organizing. We tried to do that with our paper towel lab. We'll do that with a lot of our labs. We'll try to organize things at the end. Tables, graphs, charts. I'd like you to write this down: model, a representation of a process or an object. A model is a representation of a process or an object. Usually we use models when we can't see the real thing. For example, we have a model of Mr. DeWitt, I know, has a globe. That is the model of Earth. Now, it's much easier to look on his globe and find a certain country in Africa or the capital of some European country or whatever, because it's a lot easier to just look at it because it's small. Okay, if you wanted to go to South America, okay, it's easier just to look on the globe than it is to walk there and check it out yourself. Okay, so sometimes that's the case. The solar system, have models of the solar system because you can't see all the planets. So if you shrink it down really far down, you can see that. So a model represents something. Maybe it's something that's way small, like a cell or an atom. Then we're going to make it much bigger so that way we can see it. So it's something that represents something else. Use some examples there. Why do we use it? Because it's a smaller version. I actually have a model of an ear, a human ear, that's much bigger than the regular ear because it's just easier to see. Oh, it's too big. Go ahead and write this down. Analyze. To see if your data supports your hypothesis, prediction, or inference. So sometimes you have to look at the numbers and draw some conclusions. I don't know if there's any baseball fans in here, but there's this thing called analytics that baseball uses, where they break down every single pitch of every single game, and they figure out, okay, this pitcher likes to do this. This hitter always swings on the first pitch of an at-bat. Okay, so they have it broken down. They analyzed that data. They looked at it very, very closely. Sometimes teachers analyze your grades. If you're, they see, okay, how are they doing in other classes? Why are they struggling in science, but everything else they have A's in? If you analyze, you look at the data closely. There's one other thing I wanted to look at here. Wanted to just look at microscopes for our lab later in the week. Okay. Just a few kind of reminders. This is really short. Microscope care. Okay. You're probably not going to move your microscope much, but if you do, it needs to be with two hands. These are not cheap, so we need to take really good care of them. Most of them, I think all of them, I've gotten within the last 4 years or so they're pretty good. Cleaning with lens paper, I'll show you that for our lab. Don't overturn the knobs, okay? Don't force them. We'll put covers on them. And then there's no cords with these. These are battery, but just be careful not to shake the desk, tip over the desk, anything like that. Parts of the microscope, we have the eyepiece, okay, where you look into, the body tube there, revolving nose piece, which you can turn. Objective lens are the lenses that you're going to look into. The arm there. Stage is where you're going to put your specimens, your slides. Stage clips hold them down. The coarse focus knob brings it into focus. It's the big one. The fine focus is the little one for small adjustments to bring it into focus. The base is what it sits on. The diaphragm lets light in the bottom, and then we have the light underneath. So I will show you that in person when we have our microscope lab. Using a microscope, we're going to place our slide on the microscope. We're going to clip it down. We're going to put our nose piece on the lowest setting, so low power, and then look in and use the coarse focus to adjust it. We're going to go from low then to high power. Don't worry too much about this. All right, so just so you have an idea there. So there we have it.